Narcissism is a system, which means we aren't dealing with people with personality disorder. We are actually dealing with witches and warlocks. And if you're new to my page, go to my playlist on Narcissistic Metaphysics to get the full context on what I'm saying about this. Now, when it comes to the semen, I have a video on the science of microchimerism. So when it comes to narcissism and spiritual warfare, of course, we are dealing with dark magic. So narcissism being a system means that we have to look at everything as if we are in military opposition. So when I talk about the 72 pillars of consciousness and you being the captain or the commanding officer of your control center, which is your pineal gland, and if you don't have that control, then when you go to the doctor, they call it schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, PTSD, and all that other stuff. All of that plays a role in spiritual warfare, which falls under the umbrella of narcissism, which is the default construct of the third dimension that we live in. This is what drives patriarchy. This is the strategy of both men and women. However, men are the soldiers. They are the infantry officers at the war that we are subconsciously unaware of. But the reason why our nervous system responds in the way that it does, meaning the reason why when women have dealings or intercourse with men, it lowers our immune system, which means that it's diminishing our auric field, causing cracks in our systems, which leaves us vulnerable to the narcissistic spells. And because spells because vowels are interchangeable and letters are interchangeable, spells then become spills, which means that these demonic forces, otherwise known as men or males, are able to spill themselves into our system and infiltrate us on a cellular level. So the way that happens with the semen, if you've seen my pinned video on slavery not being what you think it is, the C in currency, seaman, the ship in relationship, partnership, citizenship, and all of that indicates that we are vessels out at sea. So now we're talking about naval warfare. The naval, as in your sacral chakra, your solar plexus, this is all about your lower self. So when I made the previous video about men not having a soul but being of the soul, this is all a part of that equation. So what they do with the seamen is that they set their soldiers a sail in order to close off the portals or redirect our spirits or our frequency to an alternate reality. So when we have these interactions or this intercourse with men, semen is also the menses, which means that it is the life force that gives the narcissist its energy. When they release those soldiers in our system on our ship, which is the womb is the mother ship, that is the motherland, the womb. The whole entire earth is Africa. I have a video on that too. When they do that, then what they are doing, they have infiltrated our war room. So now, unbeknownst to us, we have been overrun by the patriarchal or the narcissistic or the third dimensional, low vibrational system, whatever you want to call it. All of these words are interchangeable. So that is why when you are in the presence of men and when you have dealings with men, when you allow them into your system, you are destiny swapping your life force for theirs. So then they are then your commanding officer. They are able to cast what we think of as spells on you. But really it's just all of the sperm within the semen are just individual nucleuses. They're individual nuclei. So that means that your cells are being programmed with their way of thinking. This is how women get rooted in their masculine energy. This is why women have menstrual and reproductive issues and trauma that gets stored in their womb as well. All of the problems that women have as it relates to men menopause, menstrual, all of that has to do with their feminine energy being hijacked by this narcissistic system. So the seamen are set afoot on our battlefield, and it causes psychological warfare, because if you've seen my video on the womb being a mind, or the womb being the soul, we know that the womb and the mind are one and the same things. But the man is also the woman, which means woman is not just womb man, is also the without man, which means that they are the man without the womb, or they are the man without the original mind. They're not connected to it, which is why they have to infiltrate and extort the actual womb through feminine energy in order to tap in, because like I always say, the wife is not the wife, she is the Wi-Fi, which means that she is the source of his divine connection. So because he feels that he has been severed from that connection, because one, he doesn't even acknowledge that he is 100% feminine. He's not actually a man. He is just the externalized version of the womb man. He is her. She is not him. It is not the other way around, but she is the energy that makes up him. So in that regard, he actually grows, some of them grow to resent this. So that is what causes their internalized gender warfare. That's why they think of the decenter men movement. That's why they think of the return of the divine feminine, or the matriarchy, as a form of feminism. They think that it's an attack on them, but really, if they were really tapped in and they were really committed, if they weren't the antimatter of the third dimension, trying to keep women anchored to it by densifying their cells on a cellular level through their semen, then they will actually have knowledge of this and be divinely connected just as well. So when it comes to dealing with men, you have to be aware not only of their biology or their psychology, but you have to be aware of metaphysically the purpose of the experiences that we have with them. Because the narcissism, as I explained it in my playlist in Narcissistic Metaphysics, is meant to redirect you back to your divine feminine. They are the semen, deliver her memories or activate her memories, which is why they call him the male. He is the male man. That is his divine purpose. So us getting involved with him, us committing to him, or making ourselves exclusive to him is the ultimate sin.